All right. Roll call. I heard Shelby talking. I heard Jeff. Anthony and Wesley, are you guys there?
Yep.
Okay. And JD, are you there?
Indeed I am.
Awesome. We are starting. What?
No, you.
We are getting started. Alright. Welcome to the Ilderon Tales. This is Group A, Sky of Wolves, Episode 7, and I know it has been a long time since we've played with this group. I am partly to blame for that, but we are back. Whoa, why do I hear extra sound? Where is the sound at? Oh, I've got Roll20 open twice. Cool. See, this is why we have, like, pre-session shenanigan things. Anyways, yeah, we're playing D&D tonight. It is a role-playing game. Everything you are going to see is live storytelling. And, yeah, nothing is going to be scripted. We're playing in Ilderon. It is a world of our own make. If you want to learn more about it, go to www.ilderontales.com. And if you're under the age of 14, please consult your parents before you continue watching this video. I am not responsible for the loss of your innocence. And yeah, before we get started, we've been doing tidbits about the world. I've been trying to give away more information about things that are related to the story or aren't related to the story. In the past, I've kept my cards way too close to my chest, and I've been informed that that isn't as fun for everyone. So, is there anything that you guys want to know about the world before we get started? If you guys don't have any questions, I'll pick something at random.
What's the most commonly terrifying monstrosity that lives in the mountains of Red Axe? I know, motivated self-interest for that one.
Most common monstrosity that lives in the mountains of Red Axe. I actually would not know that, because I haven't world built that mountain specifically in depth. But I will say there are actually wyverns in the world, in Ilderon, and I'm pretty sure wyverns are classified as monstrosities and not dragons in 5th edition. So if they are, I'm going to answer wyverns, or waverns, or weaverins, however you say their name.
Wyvern.
Yeah.
Wyvern.
Those do exist in Ilderon, and if they are monstrosities, they do exist in an uncommon fashion, which would be the most common occurrence. Like, they're not rare, but if you see one, it's like, ooh, I want to just kind of avoid that area. Is that satisfying for everybody? Does anyone have another question? Otherwise, we'll just move on.
Why do orcs still exist?
Why do orcs still exist? Orcs are actually a type of humanoid in this world called Milcerai. They were one of the first races to spawn from the first mortal races to spawn from the Earth Fires. And so the difference between Sunserai and Milcerai is Sunserai, when they spawned around the Earth Fires, they stayed there and they lived in the light of the Earth Fires. Milcerai, when they spawned, they explored the world. And so Milcerai came, before the Sunserai. And so when the orcs spawned, they went to the farthest corners of the world and they inhabited the most hardest to reach places. So they lived, in mountains, at the tops of forests, on rocky coast sides, and things like that. And so it's like, if you wanted to get rid of these populations, it's not easy. Because, they have so many natural defenses and everything protecting their civilizations. But then, too, in Ilderon, morality is a lot more subjective. Just because orcs are preternaturally evil, that doesn't necessarily make them bad people. It's just that they're more, self-focused rather than I want to, destroy villages and kill people and stuff. It's like, no, When I look at my outlook on the world, I don't think about other people. I think about me, and that's like Ilderon's evil. All right, yeah. Let's jump into some game shenanigans from there. It has been a while since you guys played. Would you guys like me to recap the session, or would anybody want to do it from their character's perspective? Because it was quite a bit. I'm going to volunteer myself. All right, so your last... go ahead.
I was just going to say, since last session, if I'm not mistaken, was practice-centric, I could probably go through.
Yeah, it was. It was you hanging out with your lover elf, doing some things.
Yeah.
And you can take it away, and I'll add in anything that needs to be mentioned.
Sure, no problem. So practice. The session started with practice talking with Boskai, and they had quite a long conversation, which resulted in practice trying to convince her to get armies to the Earthfire in Galkin, and basically Boskai said that she would talk to her mom and see, which probably means no, but he can get what he get. Practice then went to Soulmane and woke him up. Soul take advantage of the situation Practice set up for him, and Practice was a little bit put out by that, but to each his own. And they had a conversation back and forth about why that was a good or bad idea. As they went down into the inn, there was an Ladrin, in which was a blue contractor from the looks of it, and they had a mission. Practice was worried that the blue contractor was going to attack Boskai, but Soulmane assured him that wasn't really what was going on, that they had another agenda altogether. Both Soulmane and Practice went into to meet with the others, and as soon as they got there, Teak and Practice, Teak needed to talk to Practice, in which there was a very heartfelt RP, in which Teak felt like she's been letting the group down. Practice gave her a big hug and said that you can do it. Practice also said that Teak needed to tell Ogun how she feels, and Teak said she would, or Practice was going to tell Ogun himself. They went back, and there was a lot of discussion on what that they should do, and they made some headway and some plans on that. In the course of them discussing, what's her name? Delilah? Is
Dila?
that her name? Dila. She came and chastised Practice for talking about Boskai, in which Practice said, "Hey, I'm going to marry that girl." In which Dila says, "How is that possible? You have to be eternal," which Practice was not aware of. So that crimped his style. And the plans that they made in the discussing after everybody was together is that Soulmane and Ogun are going to visit. I don't remember who exactly they're going to visit. Some
Prophet Ray Lilia.
There you go, Prophet Ray Lilia in the city, and Practice and Teak. Practice wants to talk with Umia. So after Ogun and Soulmane get done, Practice is going to suggest that we teleport to Umia to see if he can rally some troops to the Galcan Earthfire. And that's all I remember.
All right, well, that's a pretty daggone good memory. Okay, so it is the 28th of Hunter, moving into the afternoon, I believe, or the late afternoon. The party is currently in the Heroes Tower, or leaving the Heroes Tower. Everybody is together. Oh, and let's go to the right map. You guys are at Sky's Reach. Alright. What do you guys want to do? I remember one person said they wanted to go, or rather, one part of the group wanted to go to Ray Lilia, and then I don't know what the rest of the party was doing.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else, but we're going to Ray Lilia, Soulmane and Ogun.
Yeah.
Okay.
The plan, I think, was that the two stealthiest people, because people were being watched, or we suspect we're being watched, and so the two stealthiest people are going to try and do this on the down low.
I still think this is a funny idea because we tried stealth in that whole drug den situation, and we all know who screwed that one up.
Fractus is not a stealthy person.
No, I didn't say it was Fractus. Fractus did great. It was totally Ogun's fault.
Well, you can be unassuming in a bat form or a mouse form.
Just turn into a mouse and hide in my cloak.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the plan.
Yeah, no talking. Just keep all the squeaks to a minimum.
No rhinoceroses through the front door. That's all we can hope for.
No promises. Because regardless of how terrible things went, I got y'all out alive, and I don't want to hear any complaining.
Amen. And a bag of holding, and lots of gold.
Yeah.
All right. So, we've got Fractus. We've got Ogun and Soulmane. How about the rest of the party? Tobias, Fractus, Teak, and Sindri will follow them because, Sindri's not stealthy.
Sindri, I think, is still trying to make potions and stuff. I think that's what he had originally planned to do.
Okay, yeah. And if you guys go anywhere, you can go back and pick him up.
Well, we're still there, so our group will pick him up.
Is there any reason why I won't be able to choose? I've got my D&D Beyond sheet up, and I don't see the option for cantrips on Wizard for some reason.
I believe at the level that we're at, you should have like 6 of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking through that. Also, more importantly, I've been on the loop for a minute, and I'm not really sure. Y'all might have to clue me on how Tobias can meaningfully contribute to at this point.
Wesley, on D&D Beyond, if you look at the spell level, do you have it actually listed as one of them? Have you clicked on one of the levels? Because if you have, you're not going to be able to see anything below that. Click on the 0. You should see all your cantrips. It's up at the very top of the thing.
Yeah, it's not even showing me. I'll have to look at it. But anyway, I'll have to go back and edit sheet. But I was just, so what's our objective at this point in time?
Yeah, and you guys can talk as players. I will get the ball rolling for you, though. Currently, you guys know Elena is missing. You know what her and her companions are trying to do. She's they are trying to infuse a god with. They have the body of the. If you believe everything they've told you, they have the body of a goddess, specifically the goddess of Ililia, the creator of this world. They believe that she has given up portions of her powers to the beings of Ilderon, and that she has, when she gifted the Earth Fires, that those weren't gifts, more so rather than pieces of herself. They have been stealing them, and they're trying to infuse them back into this this god. You're not really sure why, or even if this god wants them back, or what the state of the god currently is. You do know that there are 2 more Earthfires that they haven't taken. You do know that they have a base of operations somewhere, and you do know one of your targets is out roaming the world. So you have the options to track down their base, track down the target roaming the world, or go where you think they're going to strike next and try and prevent it.
I have a pertinent question. How do we have? We had some of the crystallized earth fire with us.
Yes.
We have a crystal, yes.
Okay. Do we think it would be pertinent for Tobias to take some time to try and discern more properties of this crystallized earth fire, or do we think we have enough information that he should focus his efforts somewhere?
I will let you guys discuss that, and I will chime in if needed.
So I guess I'll put that a little more in character.
Fractus will tell you you're welcome to. Right now, we're just waiting for Soulmane and Ogun to finish up talking with the captain there, and he reaches into his bag and pulls out the crystal and hands it to you.
Thank you. I wish to conduct experimentation.
Okay.
Out of character, Wesley. Our plan has been to try and prevent from the to basically fortify and prevent the earth fires from getting stolen.
We're fortifying one specifically.
We're trying to fortify both in different ways. That's why we're pursuing kind of different agendas right now.
So we're trying to rally Bannermen, basically.
That's been Fractus's goal, yes.
So Brandon, has there been any attempt to I think a little while ago I sent word back to the Darkened Vale explaining the situation, didn't I?
Yes, about 2 days ago, you sent your apprentice back to the Darkened Vale. I should have my day sheet out with me so I can tell you the exact day, but it wasn't. Let's see, you sent her back on the 26th. The night of the 26th.
So it's been roughly
Wesley,
48. Go ahead.
So this is important. During the session, Fractus had talked to you specifically about the Darkened Vale and the Earthfire and Galpin. His goal is to get the Umiya pantry in Himstau, and to get the Darkened Vale to work together have a ceasefire for a bit to protect the Earthfire. So,
how did that go?
Well, we're in the process of doing that. That's why he wants to go and visit Umiya.
Yeah, and Tobias has the inclination that, like, Oh, that's not good. They're not going to... Heimsdale's never going to go for this.
Well, I think given the gravity of the situation, he might actually move to operate in his official capacity as an envoy and go with him to speak with Amiya, provided they don't try to, kill him on sight. But he would, if there is time, would it be possible for him to send a message to I know it's only been like 48 hours, but he
to your apprentice?
Or does he have access, given his history, does he have access to messaging the Empress directly?
Yeah, you could send a sending. You could. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll roll you a die on your relation with the Undying Empress. Okay, so there was that letter I wrote you forever ago that
Right.
she wrote when Tobias left, of just like, oof, you're doing this? I hate to see you go because you and I are good friends, but you do what your heart tells you to. And it has been some years since you've spoken with her directly. You once had the relationship that you could send, like a sending, but it would kind of be like messaging a friend on Facebook that you haven't spoken to in 5 years or so. Where it's just like, hey, I need you to defend this building with your life. It's like, dude, we went to high school together.
Right. Well.
But yes, you did once have that relationship. So.
Okay. Would he still, I guess, have that privilege of sending a sending and it being received by her directly, especially if it was, on matters of
yes.
Okay. He would like to. I'd say that's what he would like to do at this time.
Okay.
And we can handle that whenever you want to handle it. And I get 25 words.
Yeah, 25 words. If you want to type them up, you can either just send them to me, or you can say them when I come around to what Tobias is doing.
Okay, I'll start drafting that up then, and I'll send it to you, since it wouldn't necessarily be out loud.
And Teak and Fractus is going to get Sindri. Is Teak heading with Fractus, or the other peeps in the party are chilling with Tobias?
Well, Sindri is in the meeting. Sindri was just going to go and...
Oh, yeah, potions.
Yeah. And do the potions, so... But Sindri was just there.
Yeah.
So... Teak, what do you think about all this?
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna duck out. I will post in the Discord as to why.
Okay.
Okay, I hope everything's okay.
I will be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, I will control Teak for tonight. I am going to roll... I'm gonna roll, Teak is going to stay with Sindri. Just make my life easier.
Okay.
Alright, so, is Fractus just gonna be waiting with them?
Well, Fractus is going to take the opportunity to talk to Delia more about how he's going to, what he needs to do in order to marry Boskai. But he wants to do that kind of on the down low. If everybody is doing their own thing, he'll actually start talking to her and ask her things. So.
Alrighty. We will go straight down the list in order of importance. So, Fractus, Ogan, and Soulmane. You guys are going to head towards the temple inside of this city. And if I remember correctly, this should be the Bailson Sanctum. No, because the Bailson Sanctum is at the university. But yeah, he would have one of the 6 great temples here. So this would be like the Temple of the Sword. I don't exactly remember what I named this place. But if you scroll over to the far right side of Roll20, and you look in the bottom corner, that's kind of inspiration for this outdoor temple within the city. It is one of the largest. Sunya temples on this continent, and it is this huge amphitheater place leading up multiple tiers to the final prayer hall where the different lights gather for guidance. However, just walking into the Narthenex of this place and asking around for Ray Lilia, you guys are going to be told that she is currently in the at the temple's bathing pools, giving blessings to travelers. Heading into the bathing pools, it's going to be in the center area of the temple. While it is a bathing pool, these aren't really for baths. Occasionally you see clerics and priests leading sick individuals into this water and laying them down in here. Ever so often, different adventurers and visitors come and put glowing flowers inside the water. And there are lilies floating on top of the water in every corner of this pool. The person you see praying over a floating sick person in the middle of 2 people, you believe that to be Ray Lilia. She has short black hair, and she is wearing what would be a traditional grab of the Sunya for Sky's Reach, which would be just blue and gold cloths draped around her. To kind of just help a little bit with descriptions, you guys are kind of like in that area, coming from the walkway from the south. What would you like to do?
First question ahead of time. Soulmane, what's going to fit best under your hat, cloak, whatever, nice, comfortable spot? Flying snake, that would actually work really nicely, just in case there's some extra, helpfulness with that. Rats or bats are good too.
Either any of those are fine as long as you don't bite me.
I'll do my best. Don't worry, the good news is that since it's actually me, you're not going to catch rabies or anything.
Comforting.
Well, when was the last time I bit you? I mean, seriously. I think you hit me in a fight one time because it was dark. Not that I blame you.
I think it was back at the destroyed village by the first earth fire. I think you were a direwolf at the time.
No. I was thinking of the one where we fought that werewolf. And then there was the whole darkness ring thing.
That might have been too.
Okay, so twice you hit me, and you're accusing me of being about to bite you? Come on.
Difference is you can take it better than I can.
Not if I'm tiny. So how about this? I'm going to be the flying snake because then I don't have to worry about the darkness and I won't be biting you by accident, at least.
For me.
Okay.
Roll a stealth checks so we'll get there without being followed.
Okay.
That'd be a 32.
All right. Well, that's a thing. All right. So, you are in the center area of this temple, but there are lots of people moving through here. So,
that's more for us getting to the temple on our way there.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can kind of blend in with the crowd, but it's not. There aren't like a lot of hiding places inside the temple to be.
This is more to get there because as we were feeling that we were being followed or watched. So.
All right. Yes. From what you can see, you feel like you've gotten here pretty much unhindered. Would you like me to go through the description of the temple again?
No, I'm pretty good with that, unless you need it, Jeff.
No, I'm good.
The lower tiers of this temple are completely open to the public, as most buildings in Alonagai are. Most buildings don't even have like walls or windows for their first floor, and it's like the second floor buildings that do.
Oh, Brandon.
Yes.
Before Soulmane left, Fractus hands Soulmane the amulet that he got that prevents scrying from the drug den.
Okay, and that one has a limited number of charges on it.
Yeah, he hadn't been wearing it, so...
Yeah.
Cool.
So, basically it gives him the ability to sneak out there. If you want...
Okay. Alright, so you are at the temple in its center bathing grounds. The pool here is being used as holy water to help sick individuals. Soulmane and Ogun, you guys can get a free religion check. DC 14.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh yeah, 21.
So Ogun is going to be aware of this, but Soulmane isn't because you're not from here. It is superstition and lore among travelers in Alonagai. There are 6 of these great temples across the landscape of Alonagai. It's believed if you touch the waters of each one, something great will happen for you. Which kind of prompts some believers of the faith to travel to these different temples. But that's why occasionally you guys will see like adventurers and other people come here and they'll kneel down and put like a bouquet of like these glowing flowers in the water, or dip their hands in it and keep going. But yeah, that's just supplemental information. Alright, Soulmane, what would you like to do?
Alright, Ogun. Your scales are starting to scratch my back. Get out of there.
Ogun will find someplace quiet to, or, out of sight, relatively speaking, to secure himself.
Okay.
Probably amongst all these copious pillars. If there's any like rafter reinforced structure up near the top kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll allow that. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
That's going to get a little interesting. Let's see. They do not get stealth by default. Oh, brother.
If you're trained in it for Ogun, I believe you can use your skill proficiencies from Ogun's proficiencies if your new form allows it.
He is not. And I was checking to see if the flying snakes are inherently stealthy in any way, and they're not. So, but total bonuses are actually pretty nice.
All right, 10. You are going to fly into the rafters of a small structure you see north of this pool. As you take off from Soulmane, this creature does have a flying speed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
60 feet, quite fast.
Yeah, people are going to just like zip their head over to you, just like, what was that? But for the most part, you're going to get into them unhindered. You have a sight of the pools.
Okay.
All right. Is Soulmane just standing in line to talk with the prophet, or are you going to just like walk up and...
I'll wait in line because I don't need a bunch of pissant adventurers getting angry.
All right. The waiting through this line, as each person is shuffled through, the person in front of you is going to go and it's going to step forward towards the water, and their hand seems like it is ready to completely fall off. And he's going to say, I've been afflicted with some type of curse of alchemy. Whatever it is, it can't be dispelled. She's going to nod, and he steps down into the water. The other clerics help him, and she's going to say, our goddess, our keeper, our giver of life, please illuminate this person, this soul that you have given to this world, that has grown of your seed. Sustain him, and through your lustrous light, heal his hand. Let this curse be ridden from him. You don't really see anything happen. After a moment of him just lying on his back, floating in this water as they hold him, she takes out a white candle, and she burns it. Then, after maybe 6 seconds, the whole candle ignites into a white flame in her hand and is dissipated. The man's hand shines a light for a second before he raises it out of the water, and it's fine. He's going to stand up in the shallow part of the pool and say, the goddess be blessed! The goddess be blessed! She's going to nod and say, remember, each day is a gift. And he's going to just try and hug her, but I feel like the other clerics are just going to like shepherd him out of the water. She is waiting knee deep in this water for the next person. She looks up at Soulmane.
Okay. I'm sorry. My brain has gone dead now. I need to ask this to the party. Why are we here? Why are me and Ogun here? I don't remember, honestly.
She is a expert on the earth fires as they relate to religion. Whatever that candle was with the white flame, you probably think it was something earth fire related. You guys had questions about why humans of past civilizations decided to use Amira's tear to destroy an earth fire. and then you also wanted her insight on something, and I don't 100% remember either, something related to that in regards to the current situation you were in.
Okay.
And the rest of the party can contribute now. I will allow that because, it's been so long. So if there's things you guys want of this lady, tell Soulmate.
Nope, don't remember.
Yeah, the big one in the earlier conversation that I recall anyways was that we're trying to figure out what's going to happen if the earth fires keep getting taken, like if we lose all of them, and potential uses they could be put to, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Dila said that they're more of a binding, so not existing is a problem, but if they're shrunken or moved, it's not actually a bad thing.
Okay. Alright then, so Soulmane will step forward.
Alright, the other clerics are going to help you down into the water. They gesture for you to lie on your back as they hold you up. She's going to look down and say, is she gonna call you her? No, she's gonna, and she doesn't look terribly older than you. And she's going to say, what ails you, my flower?
Lack of knowledge. From what I understand, there's not many people here that know more about Earthfires than you do.
She is going to nod and say, it's true. I mix my knowledge of Earthfires with my faith in the goddess to perform the services for the Sunyat that I do.
Currently, I'm part of the group of adventurers who's trying to stop the Earthfires from being taken anymore. But I came here for your insight on a few things regarding them, if you have a moment.
The cleric holding your legs up is going to let go and let you stand. She's going to look to this line, and it's pretty much died down now. Rolled you a percentage die, 7% out of 100%. Yeah, she's going to say, I hope you two can care to the rest of my duties for today. They are going to nod and say, yes, Prophet Relilia, and they are going to help the next person into the waters. She's going to start walking out the opposite side. And I am not going to be generic and send her to where Ogun is at. Roll me a d4 Soulmane. 1, she heads north. 2, she heads west. 3, she heads south. And 4, she heads east. Alright, she is going to head eastward towards the entrance of the temple where you guys walked in from. And she's going to stop in the crowd and as people are shuffling by you. And she is going to say, I teach a weekly class open to the masses of Sky's Reach every 5th day.
I thank you for the offer, but I might not be here the next 5th day. We're kind of always on the move. Never know when we're going to be here, there, or where.
And she's going to nod and say, you seek to understand the goddess's gift. How can I help?
One of the major things I want to know, as you're, I'm sure, aware, the Earthfire in Ardor and the Earthfire, well, not too far from here, have been taken. We actually were able to stop the Earthfire from that birthed Umia from being taken, but it's still in danger. What would happen if they were all to vanish?
She's going to. Okay, I see that, Jeff. She's going to say, well, there has been a period in history where there were no earth fires. And this is what we believe prompted the Ascended Era. The world was in a decay and a march towards its eventual withering. If all the earth fires are gone, it wouldn't be a destruction of our world, but it would signal its slow and inevitable collapse. At least according to the records that we have left before the before the second shattering.
I heard tell that the only way to destroy an earth fire completely is with a tear of
Amira.
Not Umia. Amira. Excuse me. That was player speak gibberish, not character speak gibberish. Is that true?
Let's roll her a history check. She's going to nod and say it's the only way it's been done before. The northern earth fire inside of Dawn's touch, its light went out, but it's simply, or rather, the reason why I believe was that an earth fire's energies can be consumed, but it produces far more than anybody is ever capable of consuming except for a god. At least the earth fires of old did.
What do you think the earth fires are?
She's not going to laugh at you. And she's going to say they're the light of the goddess, her gift to all races of Ilderon, our binding flame. She created the Dorai from the seed, but they couldn't survive without the earth fires to shape Ilderon in her warmth and image. And from their fires came us, the walkers of the fire, the Sarai. They're evidence of her power. They're symbols of her love. They're the warmth that encompasses us all. And in their light we live.
Which earth fire do you draw your power from? Gesturing to the candle. Is there a particular one in general, or do you draw from all of them?
The candle she had, she's going to pull another one out of her wraps and say, these are reagents prepared from Valpyr dust and minerals from the earth fire. And only a flicker of their power. Ever since the Ascended returned, the earth fires can't be used like they used to. And she's going to say, I use any materials I can get, whether I import them from Ardor, Alonagai, or Galkin.
Do you believe in the Ascended? I know that's a touchy religious subject here in this country.
She is going to... she's not going to laugh. She's going to smile for a moment, look down and put her hand over her mouth and say, The Ascended are emissaries of our goddess's will. They are powerful heroes sent in times of need. Do I believe they are gods? She shakes her head. Can I doubt the evidence of their power? No, I cannot either. And she's going to continue and say, but as the war led by the Sky Queen Lidora in the 120th year of the Ascended Era proved, the Ascended bleed. And anything that bleeds can be no god of mine.
I guess that's fair. That was more of a curiosity on my part, and I apologize if I offended you with it.
I think I got that name wrong. I think it's Atoma was the Sky Queen. But yeah. And she'll shake her hand and say, no. Mine is a job to give enlightenment and share my light with others.
Soulmane's gonna look up to where Ogun is and kind of gesture him to come down.
Ogun will come down as best one can as a brightly colored snake.
She's seen druids before. She's not going to be be alarmed at this. And Soulmane looks like a half elf, so she's gonna say, and I'm assuming this is either a druid of your circle or a companion of yours.
I'm no druid. He is, though.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with...
Ogun winks at her and nods, like peeking up over his shoulder from under his cloak.
Ogun, do you still have any of the pieces of that crystal on you?
Okay, out of character, I think Fractus had the only one.
I thought we grabbed a couple. Okay.
I'm checking my stuff to see if I can find anything like that. But
as far as I know, Fractus, well, currently Tobias has it.
Because I think Alward grabbed one too, didn't he?
Alward did grab one.
Okay, actually, then Owen probably does have one. Yeah, well, that's a good question. I don't remember if we recovered that or not.
I don't remember if we recovered it or not.
I feel like that would be pretty important to grab.
Well, Ogun would have grabbed everything that was there to grab because he wouldn't have left it at the bottom of the ocean.
Some things got destroyed by the sea. I will rule that you have it, though, because the sea tries to destroy it, and a message appears at the bottom of the screen. You can't destroy quest items.
Okay, so he nods.
Soulmane's gonna go, Ogun, change back for a moment for me, would ya?
Okay, he drops down and, makes sure that nobody else is looking when he changes back.
Okay. Yeah, you are... Well, I mean, it's hard to have, nobody else looking. And a couple of, commoners and stuff are going to be looking at you guys. But I think the thing that's going to be most shocking is, when she sees you, is that you're not an elf.
So, actually, as far as the spot goes, on the second tier toward the entrance, there's a little gap above the second story. Oh, okay. So you're not changing back in front of them. You're flying up and then jumping down. Yeah. Okay. Just so that that's not completely weird. Yeah. I mean, half orcs jumping off of pillars or jumping off the roof and things are a little weird, but he does what he can. Roll me a acrobatics check, and I'll allow you to negate fall damage because it is going to be more than 30 feet. Well, there's a second tier. It looks like there's a flat spot, so he can make two separate jumps. Acrobatics, huh?
Yeah.
Great.
Soulmane's gonna take 3 steps to the side, seeing the half-orc plummeting from the sky.
And you're going to roll down in front of these two. And she's going to step back, hand on her chest, so just like, I am mistaken. I thought Amira granted the crafts of druidism to the elves.
He snorts. The shamans of my tribe have been druids for generations. Also, let me surprise you again. Professor Ogun Threestrike, pleased to meet you.
She's going to extend a hand forward and say, Prophet Raylilia, of no order.
I apologize, I didn't introduce myself. He'll also extend out his hand. My name Soulmane Darkstride.
She'll take it, shaking it for a moment. Say, well, Illyria, it is always a gift when I can share the light of our goddess with others.
Ogun. We have a second.
The rock. Hang on.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We have a second one of these, right? As you hand it to him.
Yeah.
He's going to turn to her. It's customary to leave offerings in times like these, correct? For such things?
She's going to nod and say some choose to if they're able to, but the goddess demands only the wills.
Soulmane will hand her the crystal.
Alright.
This
The
is...
short version, if this goes badly, that might be the last bit there is.
At least we'll know where it is.
Well, that's true. Do be careful with that.
That is actual crystallized earth fire.
Yeah, her eyes are just open wide, looking at this thing in her hand. It's like, but how did you get this? Does it respond as regular earth fire magic?
I would
I have
assume
no
so.
idea. Actually, is that something that we've tried? I don't think we did.
I don't think any of us can do earth fire magic.
Well, that's true.
We haven't had an opportunity to do something like that. None of us are gifted with that kind of ability. But it is literally part of the earth fire. Like I said, we are chasing the people who are taking the fires. And we came across this at the Artersarai one.
She is going to wrap her hand around it and say, "Can I use it?"
Please.
Presumably? Gently, though, just in case.
Alright. Let's roll her a intelligence check. She is, go ahead.
Do you need it to do healing magic with it?
She's going to shake her head, moving over to the wall, taking a unlit torch off of it, and she's going to say, "Tell me, have you ever heard of Kargag's flame?"
History?
Arcana?
Or Arcana?
You can roll it. I will allow either. History or Arcana check. Ogun has. It's.
I'm not magic.
Ogun is going to know. Wait, Kargag's flame? Isn't that one of the reasons humanity still exists? There were one of the reasons a Lil Nagai was able to form. There was a tribe of Milsarai that were living around the lands outside of the Southern Earthfire, and they got into a war with the first explorers coming to the region. And as things got difficult, they summoned a very, very, very powerful demon into the world. that was the first Shatterer. The only way the explorers were able to beat it was with an artifact called Kargag's Flame. It was a torch that was set ablaze from the fires of the first Earthfire. And it still burns to this day. It's kept in a museum. It's one of the most powerful magical artifacts in the world.
Well, this girl doesn't think small, does she?
Yeah. And she... if nobody says anything.
That's kind of big magic. I was suggesting something small if you want to test it. Kargag's Flame I'm familiar with somewhat.
Yeah, she's going to say, well, one of the biggest differences between Earthfires of old and Earthfires of our current era is their flames don't spread. No matter if you stick your hand in an Earthfire or touch wood to it, no item in an Earthfire will ever be set ablaze, at least in our current era. You can smith in them due to some of the excess heat, but again, no flames will ever catch in its presence.
Well, that's been concentrated, altered somewhat, at least in form. So, again, caution. Just in case it does go a little sideways, that's a little explosive to be starting with. But you are the expert, so.
Holding the crystal, she is going to cast Sacred Flame on the torch. A radiant light is going to crackle and explode around the torch. The crystal itself is going to light up and dissolve, empowering her magic with an extra burst of flame as a wind just kind of gust around you guys. After the bright flash, you guys look upon the torch and it's burning, a white flame. She is going to drop it, just in shock.
Ogden catches it. If he's got the reflexes to do it.
She looks to her hand of like where the crystal was, and but how?
I don't know. That's why we came to you.
Well, if you say that you can't be burned by it,
that makes sense.
Soulmane's going to put his hand in the flame.
Soulmane touches the flame? It does... What's Soulmane wearing?
Clothing, and he does have fire-resistant armor on.
Okay, so do you have, like, gloves on?
Yeah.
It does not hurt your hand, but it does catch your gloves on fire. They are ignited, and they are being singed away. She's gonna say, Earthfire magic can't hurt anything with the soul, but the flames spread. Soulmane is on fire.
So he pulls his hand out.
Hogan grabs him by the back of his collar if it's not going out quickly and drags him to the water.
No, I'll allow Soulmane to pat his hands out. Give me a dexterity save. Just...
Okay. He does not throw him in the water.
my head canon for that is someone's looking at his burning gloves like, what strange magic is this? And Ogan's like, that's just fire. Let's go.
Here's the thing.
Gonna say,
if it's holy fire, he'd put it out in the holy water just in case that does it some good. Okay? Other than that...
Looking at the torch she lit, she's going to say, without a Valpyr and sulfur infused base, the torch is going to go out. Oh, but I could do so much with this today. I could understand so much if you leave it with me.
Can you just light another torch with it and keep it going? Light a bigger fire, keep it going? More wood?
It seems like it catch things on fire.
She is going to shrug and say, well, the torch of Karga, anything lit of its flames, loses potency. I suppose you could, but eventually the fires will die out. It's their nature.
Try lighting your candle with it.
Tell you what, how about you try to keep it going just in case? This might be some, like I said, this could be some of the last Earthfire magic available in this world. If our plans do not go off well.
Oh wait, my glove. I have my glove of protection, so did I lose that?
No, magic items can repair themselves. It wasn't completely destroyed. It was set on fire, though, so it will take it time to repair itself. Let's roll your glove a D4. It's going to repair itself in 2 hours. You can see it weaving together its fibers again, although be it slowly. I think that's the word. Albeit, though, slowly.
Yeah. Actually, Ogun will just boop, mending. Assuming that'll fix it.
Yeah, that'll push the process along.
Ogun, the Holy Fire Department.
Soulmane with just kind of like with a smile on his face says, "The gift of life was returned by the flame."
Wait a minute. I have a crazy idea. Hey, Brandon.
Yes.
This torch is gradually burning down, I presume?
Yeah, it's going to burn for the same amount of duration as normal torches, which I think is like 2 hours.
Okay. He hits that with mending, too.
That's
make it
that's not going to
burn longer?
It's not the wood that's
Okay.
burning, but rather the oiled cloth on the end. That's
Okay. You could probably keep dripping oil on this, Or, make sure the first thing you light is something with a wick. So you just keep supplying it with oil, and then you'll keep the same flame going.
This is the Earthfire expert, so if anyone would know how to handle keeping this flame ablaze, I think she's the top person too.
Yeah, but she's talking about transfers. Never mind. Just ideas, because, fire.
I was just thinking, what would happen if she lit her candle with it?
That could get interesting. So this is the circumstance we find ourselves in. Here's another question. What could someone do, potentially, with Earthfire that's been crystallized like what we just handed you, that maybe would not be possible before?
Except on a much
bigger scale.
We're talking bigger than this building, probably.
She's gonna shake her head and say, Earthfires in days of old empowered magic. Spells became more potent, more vibrant. They burned anything without a soul. Demons, fiends, devils, undead that touched them were incinerated. The magical energy provided by one gestures and says, "What's the most powerful spell you know?" You
Wish?
could cast it and level a city. You could raise a kingdom.
Druid Grove? Make the whole world a grove? That would be interesting.
Soulmane is going to whisper stealthily into Ogun's ear.
What are you going to whisper?
Bring back a god.
Yeah, that too. Alright, well...
Soulmane and Ogun, what is your perception?
11.
11?
Passive, 15.
15, okay.
I'm not perceptive. I can investigate, and I can stealth.
You know what? I'll give this to you guys differently. I'll let one of you roll a percentage die. Which one of you want to do it?
You got it, Jeff.
All right. 88.
88. Okay. Whew. So as you guys are talking, and Raylilia is like gesturing of just like, what's the biggest thing you can do? And she's waving her hands around. She's going to stop and like look at her hand. In the center palm of her hand where she was holding the crystal, although it doesn't look like she's hurt, the flesh on her hand is singed and looks like it's been burned. In that, like how burned flesh looks, it's not charred or anything, but it's pale, it's disfigured, it's kind of melted together. Like the lines and palms of her hand don't move are in the same way because the flesh has been like permanently scarred. She looks down at it and says, "Huh," just holding her palm out.
What the heck is going on there?
She's going to... And she's going to say, well, I surmise... Well, Ogun can actually surmise this. He's like... gonna know Elena has been kind of like struggling with doing whatever she's been doing with these earth fires. The effect it had on her hand, sure, you could do a lot with it, but it'll probably kill you.
Okay.
Just judging by the small crystal she used.
So here's the other thing. Ogun's handled this thing before, and I presume he's had no. Well, yeah, but I'm just checking. Like, there's no weird flesh melty action going on with that, right?
No, there is not.
Okay.
Soulmane seeing this is gonna just look at Ogun, go, he's using her.
Yeah, well, I could have told you that. That whole, we're going to raise up this da-da-da-da, all this, like, we're going to bring peace to the world. That's BS.
Yeah, no. Thank you. I think this was actually more information and...
Well, that's confirmation.
It's confirmation and insight that needed. I think this confirms a lot of our suspicions, actually.
Yeah, there's a little more conversation I'll have with you about that later.
Am I in trouble, Ogun?
No. It's just more things I want to tell you without scaring everybody else.
That's fair. I think we've...
Bring a few facts together. Nothing you haven't heard already, I think.
I think we've taken up enough of her time. We should probably get back to the others, don't you?
Do you leave the torch with her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, she's going to be standing up or looking up at it.
Do please put that someplace well protected. Keep it going as best you can. One more thing. Soulmane, go touch the water with me.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I've already bathed in it, so...
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to go touch the water real quick.
All right. You are able to dip your hand in it.
Okay.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 temples for Soulmane and the first temple that Ogun has ever touched. Because I believe Soulmane touched the temple in Dawkinsdale. I'm not 100% certain, though.
I think I did, but it wasn't like as a pilgrimage kind of thing. It was more of, I think I fell in it or was shoved in it.
All right. Yeah, you guys are able to leave and depart, leaving the torch with her.
Look at Ogun. Suit up. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
So really, the scales were itchy? I wouldn't expect that. I mean, maybe the feathers, but
Something was.
it was probably the feathers.
Once
You okay with fuzz? Do you have any allergies to cats or anything like that?
Shut up and get in.
All right. I'm just picking a good form, okay? Jeez.
Hang on. And as soon as he transforms and climbs in,
He'll be a bat this time.
All right. And you guys are going to make your way back to the university. All right, Tobias. I did get your message on that sending. You are going to get a reply, and the reply is going to be, although we've been estranged, you've done well in guiding my new feather. I shall send her back to you. If you need me, call of me. And my aid you will have.
Okay. So that would lead me to the next question, or I guess reaffirming what I wondered. Was he given, when they meet in this meeting potentially, would he have been given the authority to make how much can he actually tell them that they'll do and have it actually honored without overstepping his whatever authority he was given?
As far as like your role inside the Darkened Veil?
Right. Well, if he goes to meet with these folks and they they enter negotiations, he's not going to tell them anything that he doesn't think. He's not going to make any agreements that he doesn't think would be, honored on their end, because that's just asking for trouble. But he realizes that there's going to have to be some concessions here, and they're talking about the mobilization of, a lot of assets. So, does he actually have the authority to do that, or is they're going to have to bring somebody else in who has that authority?
So Tobias is a diplomat on behalf of the Empress's court. You were sent into the world, or rather you left to go into the world to make alliances for the Darkened Veil, although, people didn't believe you would be capable of it. I would say, for Tobias, he could antagonize enough to, get the Darkened Veil into a war, and they are very defensive about their own. Of whether or not they like you, they would ride to that war. In the same respect, I feel Tobias could offer to defend somebody, and whether or not they like that the person being defended, they would stand with you, because the Darkened Veil is very isolationist. They realize they only have each other in the world. So I feel like you don't have any official capacity to say the Darkened Veil is going to war, or that the Darkened Veil will defend this person. But you know instinctually from the culture that if I stood for this, that they would stand behind me.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if he was sent out to make alliances, this would be exactly the reason that he's out and about in the world anyway. But, so he would be able to say, well, I can garner support behind this. Obviously, it's ultimately the Empress's decision, but I know the Empress. So, he can't make policy, but he can tell them what they would and wouldn't accept, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he, actually, he's going to, I was going to say that he would see if he can get his apprentice back, but considering where they're going and who they're talking to, that's probably not a good idea. And I only had one casting of sending, so would he be able to consider? Well, he didn't actually. He was going to tell her what the situation was, but I can't do. He couldn't do that in 25 words.
It's a big situation.
Well, he's just going to have to sort of. He's going to have to head in there and hope that they trust him enough to make that decision, I guess.
What, out of character, what level is Cindy?
It's third.
Third level.
In a pigeon of metagaming, we do have a ring of spell storing. I'm sure you can find somebody that has ascending.
Or do you think we could? You think I could manage one?
I mean, we are at the university, for pity's sake, so I'm sure there is somebody that because this is important. So.
That's doable, but is it attuned to him right now?
Well,
It's not.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this: How hard would it be for him to procure a scroll of sending, given that it's a very important diplomatic matter?
They would sell them here in the university.
How much, though?
Let me look that up. I had a formula I was doing for these, but there was actually a PDF that a group of people on Reddit made that was generating prices near exactly to what I was coming up with for them. So it's just easier for me to look it up. It's loading right now.
And also, you can burn higher level slots if you've got any left.
I have three third level slots, so I guess I could just burn one of those for another sending, couldn't I?
Yeah. Yes, you could.
Yes.
Well, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Let's see. He will say, my gratitude. Situation as follows. Earthfire is compromised. Solidified as fuel for ritual. Seeking. Oh, retract that. Entering negotiations with Umiya, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Umiya. Joint effort to defend Earthfire's the Darkened Veil may be needed.
All right. You are going to send that, and you will get a response back that says, we shall speak soon. Update me on your progress in the university.
I give an arbitrary thumbs up. And I'll head back to the people still here, and I'll say I've been in contact with the Empress of the Darkened Vale, I may have to return there for a short time to engage in negotiations for a joint effort. I am less confident in entering into negotiations with Umiya without bringing the Empress to speed on what's happened. It's been some years since we've spoken, but I know I can secure an audience with her on short notice.
Fractus is going to nod and he's going to say, did you need to go before we talk to Mia or after?
I would very much prefer to. I feel it's necessary that I speak with Empress before, because I am an emissary, but I'm not a policy maker. I can't guarantee anything without the Empress's express think brain.
Mm-hmm.
I can't guarantee anything unless the Empress assures me of it first. If I spoke with her, I might be able to provide actual numbers and what supplies they can expect if they agree to a treaty.
Excellent. Practice is going to say, we can teleport there. I hate to ask this, and this is rude, and I apologize, my friend. If we do teleport, no one's going to... How do I put this?
You don't.
Hell, I'll just say it. No one's going to feast on us.
No, you would come as my guests, and it is somewhat amusing. The public opinion of us is quite exaggerated. We, as a matter of, to be honest, many of the Terra that live in the Darkened Vale don't feast on or are sustained by the land itself. That is, so they don't actually feed once they reach the Vale, and that's a very important fact that much of the propaganda decides to leave out. Once they're in the Vale, there's no need to feed on the living.
Well,
so we have,
if that's the case, you've been quite trustworthy and helpful. I don't see a problem with all of us going there immediately after this.
It may not put you in the good graces of Omiya, knowing that you've been to the Darkened Vale.
I don't see a reason why not. We have followers in your lands as well as in Himdall, which is why I want to go and talk to Omiya in the first place.
If you wish to visit the Darkened Vale, I'd certainly never dissuade you from doing so. I'm honored that you would you want to go with me. I assumed I would be going by myself, but maybe this.
Well, you can talk to the Queen by yourself. We do this as a group, so we only have one helm of teleportation, and it's easier to do this all together. Besides, we can make sure that assassins don't come after you.
There's assassins.
I don't trust Elena. I don't trust these mages. I trust you. I trust Ogun.
I appreciate that. Brandon,
Yes.
Wasn't it said at some point, wasn't the Empress herself a spellcaster of sorts?
Yes, that is true. A lot of people in the Darkened Vale have a more comprehensive understanding of magic than most other nations.
If Elena manages to infiltrate the Darkened Vale, that would be very disturbing. Another fact that they failed to mention is that our people, the Terrai, are rather astute in. We're accomplished students of the arcane, which is what we need since we're dealing with matters of the arcane. And the Empress herself is very competent, but so it may be something.
Additional information is always great. You and Ogun are the book smart guys. I just put the pointy end into the guy. So
I tend to brag too much on my homeland a bit, but if once our compatriots return, I would like to resolve this matter as quickly as possible, so we can move on to what I feel would be the much more difficult negotiations. But I'm waiting for word back from the Empress herself as well.
One quick question: Can Terrai live under the water?
You're asking Tobias that, or are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking Tobias that. Because we have, besides the Galkaner fire, which I think is the one most likely going to be hit, we do also have the one underneath the water that needs to be fortified.
What did we say about Terra having to breathe, Brandon?
They don't have to breathe. The maintenance of their body is completely optional if they want to blend in with society. The thing we did establish with Tobias, even though he didn't have to breathe underwater, when he got pushed out away from the orb, his body wasn't suited to the depths. Like, the water was crushing him. And that was what almost killed him the first time. Well, I guess technically the second time, because he is dead.
As it stands, no, we do not require. We don't have to breathe. So, however, our kind do suffer from the weight of the water bearing down on us, just the same as anyone. But as far as being able to
Practice never felt that, so he doesn't really know that the crushing waves on there. So he's gonna kind of look at you and go, "Okay, so you think you'll be able to help support that earth fire?"
We would certainly have a great advantage. I am less of a military strategist. We can discuss with them when we're down there. That's a good idea. But it is important to note that one of them is underwater, and that will give us an advantage, I guess. But we will have to see what the Empress can promises to us first, and then I'm sure they have more than adequate. They have many great minds behind the military strategy. I am less inclined towards it myself. But that's good. That's definitely. I had not thought of that before you mentioned it. My greater concern is the offer being received. Although even though they may not have a choice in the matter if they want to protect the earth fires, no disrespect intended, dogma does tend to cloud otherwise sensible judgment.
Well, from what I've been told, the only time that there was a ceasefire is when the sun ascended. Directly asked for a truce. My only hope is that our allies in Himdall and our allies in the Darkened Vale can cause another truce and protect this Earthfire. Otherwise, we're lost. Because without an army, you saw what Elena threw at us under the wall. That was only the tip of what she could throw at us when she can breathe and not have to worry about the waves.
Yes, I've been thinking about that a great deal since then. I was not as prepared as I would have liked to have been, but
and we have to have the truce, because any movement of troops on there, we can't have an all-out war right in the midst of when Elena is coming.
no. And
So this is our best bet.
I agree. I certainly agree. And I trust the Empress will understand the gravity of the situation, although you may understand there may be quite a bit of vitriol between the two factions respectively. But we can only do the best we can. And we'll figure something out if things don't go quite like we need them to go.
All right.
There's one ally that we haven't approached yet. An unlikely ally. We need Soulmane back. And do you have any more spells of sending?
I have one more sending available for the day.
I may ask you to use that and put it in the Ring of Spell Storing for Soulmane.
Certainly.
The person we may need to talk to is the Eye of the Mountain. That man owes me, whether he knows it or not. And I don't know him personally, but I know Soulmane has met him.
Wasn't that time he tried to kill us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's what Practice is alluding to.
Oh no.
Yeah. So he knows that Soulmane has at least met the dude and can do ascending to him.
Yeah. I mean, trying to kill each other does count as dirty. Yeah. He'll say, just you're more than welcome to it. Just let me know when you need it. Well,
I'm not sure where he is or what he's doing, but he does owe us. And that is going to be the repayment. We got him out of that jewel
that Soulmane got him stuck in. I'm kidding.
True, but
Alright.
hopefully he won't remember that from how things played out.
All right. The after a while of waiting and talking, Fractus and Soulmane are going to return to the Heroes Tower.
You mean Ogun?
Ogun and
why do I keep calling Ogun Fractus? It's like the third time I've done that tonight.
I think it's because Fractus and Soulmane typically are more commonly seen doing stupid shit.
Yeah, the rogue
together.
rogues.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, Ogun and Soulmane are going to return to the Heroes Tower. while the rest of the party is there just going about their business, ever so often you guys see Dila walking through the halls to various points. Tobias.
Did Dila actually talk with me during that
about
time
more
I,
options to become eternal?
Yeah.
She did not. It looked like her attention was like on other things.
Okay.
Tobias, they
Yes.
left the a Earthfire crystal for you to experiment on. What type of experiments did you want to run on it? If you tell me how you're experimenting, I will make you then just make an Arcana check afterwards.
Okay, well, it was mentioned before that it was, basically some kind of fuel source. What preliminary, what it would like to try to do is kind of get a, what's the word I'm looking for? A ratio to how much energy it produces versus how much energy is put into it. Like,
Okay, give me
like as a fuel, how potent is it as a fuel source?
give me a Arcana check as you are examining the
Oops,
crystal.
That was not correct. Hold on.
And then you'll finish your experiments when the rest of the party gets back. So the rest of the party is going to connect together inside the meeting room that Drill was petrified in. Soulmane is together with everybody else. Or Soulmane and Ogun are together with everybody else. And Tobias, you're going to finish your meditation and study of this crystal. You are going to get more of a sense. Well, I guess batteries don't exist in this world. You feel like this is some type of container filled with energy, but you don't feel like it would replenish itself, especially not in this form.
Okay, so it stores energy, but it doesn't amplify it.
It is stored energy.
Oh, it is stored energy.
Yeah, in terms of like from DM to player, what you're holding is essentially a battery.
Okay. Was he able to get an idea of how much energy is stored in this? Like in a more mathematical, scientific.
So this shard, if you were to look at your hand, it is about 3 inches tall and probably an inch and a half thick. It is a tiny sliver of this Earthfire energy. Just with this small, tiny crystal, you feel mechanically whatever spell you cast while holding it will deal 1d6 of additional radiant damage before it is consumed.
So it's extremely potent.
Yes.
Okay. That's.
It is not
Sounds
very.
good enough for me.
It is not very much because the sliver is so small. But for how small it is a lot. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
All right, the party is all together. You guys are in the Heroes Tower still because you haven't told me you've gone anyplace else.
What's up?
So, I think so. We have some suspicions confirmed, and a little extra heralding of doom. Who's ready to hear it? Which one do you want first? The good news or the bad news?
Let's do the bad news.
If all the Earthfires are destroyed, and I'm saying destroyed, not just crystallized, that's not going to cause the end of the world, but it is going to herald the end of the world, according to the prophet's thoughts on the matter. Probably starting an age of decay, where everything will eventually just sort of crumble and die. That's the extra bad news.
Oh. The other bad news is we're down one of those crystals now.
I gave it to the prophet. I gave it to the prophet. She seemed like she knew what there is to know about that sort of thing. The good news is her experimentation did yield some interesting information. So the earth fires that are around now, the fire doesn't spread. Like, you can stick something in it and it won't burn it. It's just like it's not going to catch anything on fire or anything like that. This crystal, though, does.
Holding up his still burned gloves.
Right. So if it was able to spread to a torch in the experiment, but the bad news about that is it's concentrated enough to work like the earth fires of old, for lack of a better phrase. The other thing is, if it's used, normally Earthfire won't burn anything with a soul, but it did burn the prophet when actual Earthfire magic was used with it. And considering the quantity we were dealing with and everything like that, most likely whoever's behind Elena is lying to her a lot about what's going to happen, because if she does something with the massive amount of Earthfire crystal that they've collected, even just the amount that they've got now, it will probably kill her completely. And I have a sneaking suspicion, and I don't actually know this, but sneaking suspicion that that kind of power might destroy her soul while we're at it, or while she's at it, rather.
It's interesting you should mention that, Professor. I've recently just finished a small experiment on the fragment we have.
Okay, hopefully you didn't blow your hand off. You okay?
No. Oh,
good.
Yes, it was just a minor experiment.
Good. I asked her to be gentle. You've evidently succeeded in being gentle. Well done.
Indeed. Well, this small sliver, I found that even something as minor as a cantrip channeled through this, which acts more as I think it's important to note, acts more as a battery than an amplifier. Even something as small as a cantrip would be empowered by one order of magnitude at least. This is something, maybe this is a gram, I don't know, an ounce. Judging that we were likely looking at multiple tons of this substance, it boggles the mind to think how they would hope to channel this much energy being exposed at a single time. I'm thinking it's more of a cataclysmic event than a channeled ritual.
Agreed. The prophet and I had a similar conversation, and I agree the result of doing anything with all of that Earthfire crystal, even what they've got now, could be world-changingly catastrophic, depending on the nature of the spell.
So are you telling me that I've been carrying around a live powder keg in my pocket this entire time?
It's not quite that bad.
It's far more stable.
Well, yes, that's true.
Not to mention you can't cast magic.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah, it's like handing it to a dog that doesn't know how to...
Otherwise, my pants would have been, boom, blown off.
Well, actually, the scary part, when you think about it, is what would have happened if it did rub up against something magical inside your bag of holding, and the other thing went off, so to speak.
But it didn't actually react with the magic inherent in the bag of holding to begin with.
Right, but see, here's the tricky part.
Practice is going to look at you, Tobias, and say, "You can keep that."
Okay.
Good luck.
So there seems to be a difference, or I think there may be a difference between using if you will, the he uses air quotes standard forms of magic, as opposed to earth fire magic, which is what the prophet was using. At least as I understand it. Brandon, is Ogun am I off base with that one? Is there like a separate kind of magic or whatever?
So it would be Earthfire magic could be like categorized as a type of divine magic because divine magic, arcane magic pulls on the laws of nature and alters the energies omnipresent around you. Divine magic pulls on a source of like, my God, empower me to do this, and you pull off a sliver of that God's power and then smite your enemy with it. Earthfire magic would kind of be similar to that, as where the source of magic is coming from.
Okay, so yeah, this was specifically Earthfire magic. So regular magic, the typical stuff, if you say channel it through the crystal, then you would very likely see some additional effect or something like that. However, magic intended to use Earthfire as a source, I could see yielding higher escalation of results.
We don't actually know if arcane magic, how it works differently with the crystal, though.
Yeah, I could see it getting a little weird at the very least. Maybe unpredictable. Couldn't say.
I could try to cast
I do not.
Right?
No. I do not encourage any experimentation in this case. Because honestly, just saying this is probably going to go badly, and it will probably be more powerful than intended, is enough. I think we know this is a problem. Maybe keep that in your pocket for when something is really about to go badly and you really need a certain spell to do this thing bigger than usual. Throw it and hope you don't blow your hand off.
Sentry is going to speak up and say, a flame of the original Earthfire from your world still exists. I hear they have it in the Galena Mave. Archaeologists of the museum roam the university.
Oh, are you talking about the Flame of Kograd? What was that, Brandon?
Yeah, Torch of Kargog.
Yes.
I called it
Kargog.
Kargog's flame, but it is the Torch of Kargog. Yeah. And he is going to nod and say yes. Yes. And this is something Ogun is aware of too. The university has an open contract with the museum. Their agents work inside of the university, and you guys are allowed to freely travel to the museum.
Okay. So yes, and that was also, she did a torch. She's like, oh my gosh, it's like the Torch of Kagar, except not quite as not quite as big. But it still catches other things, which is the tricky part. And something that old Earthfires did and the new ones didn't. Or current ones don't, rather.
It was strange. It caught my magic gloves on fire, but my hand felt like it was just floating in air.
So just in case you were wondering whether or not you had a soulmane, you do have a soul. Scientifically confirmed. Congratulations.
Well, Aurelia be praised.
Aurelia be praised!
Indeed.
Alright. You guys hear footsteps in the hallway, too, by the way.
I cast Fireball.
Through the crystal.
Alright.
I attack the darkness.
I just wanted you guys to be warned. And I didn't go through each person's perception of just, this person here is just letting you guys know as you're talking.
What, so I'm sorry, it was noise? What?
Footsteps.
Footsteps in the hallway.
Okay, Ogun will poke his head out. Ho there in the hall!
Ogun, you are going to see a girl that you only met briefly following, or rather walking through the hallway. In addition to her, you're going to see another woman behind her, and there is one more person with them. And you see you see two people. Well, no, you see one person you recognize, Sona, Tobias's apprentice. You do not recognize the other two people walking with him. As you stop them, Sona is going to bow and say, Master Three Strikes, allow me to introduce the Sight of the Third Eye, Guardian of Agram's Gambit, Delarifier of the New World, the redeemed Undying Empress of the Darkened Vale, Her Majesty Elizabeth. Elizabeth is going to give a courtly bow, which is only like half a bow.
Did
wait.
Did Fractus hear that?
Yeah, you hear that in the hallway. She is going to say, well, I would like to be regaled of your tales sometime. Three Strikes. She looks at Sona. Sona nods. She says,
Hogan, Three Strike, Maddest Wolf, Dawn Eye, son of Viola Thrice Dead, and First Wind of Angi Yandar, professor of the college. Very pleased to meet you. Do come in. We were just having interesting conversations I think you may be interested in as well.
Fractus is going to turn to Tobias and says, well, looks like we're not going to the Vale.
She is going to wave her hand of just like dismissing this and says, I'm here to return my feather and to speak with an old friend. Thank you for the invitation. They continue walking.
Very well.
Does she know I'm in here?
No.
Tobias? Hey, go.
Yep.
Just go say hi.
Wait, they stop in the hallway.
My passive perception is 22. Would I have caught all of this?
Yeah, you would have heard the conversation happening outside.
What is the Empress doing here? Okay,
Hi, boss.
I'm gonna step out into the hallway. Your Grace.
Sona is going to step forward and say, may I introduce... Elizabeth stops her, and she's going to say, Tobias, it's been far too long.
My apologies. He's going to take a knee. I did not expect you to come here in person. We were discussing our trip to the Darkened Vale a few moments ago. It's good to see you again. It has been too long.
She's going to say, as the eye opens, the sight is gracious. She turns, looking towards the hallway, and says, as you know, my sister has returned to this world. I've been rallying for for the witch of this tower to join us, and it seems she's been declining your calls. Perhaps whatever this conflict is that you're trying to amass our forces in could be the rallying cry for her to finally lend aid to both of us.
That is my hope. If you would, I would, these are my companions. We would, if we could explain the situation in full and our experiences up this far. Unfortunately, I feel we are in a very grave situation, and we have inadequate time to prepare. If it shouldn't take too long, but I do think it's important that we hear from everybody on this particular issue.
All right. She is going to not stepping into the room. Sona and just following behind her.
As Sona passes, he'll give her a touch on the shoulder and approving nod as they enter the. It's like, you done good, kid.
Yeah. She's going to say, I tried to tell her I could handle this, but she insisted on coming.
I understand. The Empress does as she wills. Our duty remains the same.
Stepping into the room, the party is going to see a bunch of pale, dead vampires.
Fractus is going to stand up and bow to the Empress in a very, very ornate way.
Okay. You know what? It's effective. It's effective. Roll me a performance check for the magnitude of the effect.
Since I'm in the car, can you do the
Oh, yeah. Never mind then. No, I'm kidding. Alright. So, standing before you guys is Sona Tolls, which is Tobias's apprentice, fledgling diplomat of the Darken Vale, the Empress of the Darken Vale, and her heir. Let's see. Well, and I guess they would. Sona would introduce them, and Sona would go through the entire, all of the titles of Sight of the Third Eye, Guardian of Agram's Gambit, Delarufia of the New World, the Redeemed Undying Empress of the Darken Vale, and then Jessica Veda, the Redeemed, and then Sona, Feather of the Agram Guard. And let's see, Fractus. Fractus needs to roll a performance check.
I need some cool titles.
There we go.
Practice is proficient in performance.
And you still rolled a 6.
Yeah, I feel.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
You're
sorry,
fired,
an 11. 11.
Yeah, 11.
I was looking at your modifier.
Yeah, and you don't have the skill that, perilous skill. Alright. She is in the room, and she's going to say, well, you're not the band of heroes I expected here. I was led to believe Dila made a close friendship with a group that rescued her from Galkin.
Was Dila the one that basically threw us to the wolves? Or something like that?
Dila is the lady in charge of this university. She was the one that, while you guys were interrogating Elena, or she's the one who petrified the guy last session. Elena, I guess, kind of threw you to the wolves too, but I don't know.
She's the one that let Elena escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let is debatable too.
She knew it was going to happen. She just wanted to see how.
Tobias speaks up and says, my faith and opinion of the head of this college has been severely shaken. I'm honestly certain whether or not she can be fully trusted at this point. Her latitude for, or her, oh shit, what am I thinking? She more or less intentionally allowed Elena to escape when we had her here. And we lost one of our number during the raid. It was a very trying experience, to say the least.
Elizabeth is going to nod and say, we don't always understand both halves of the coin. Just as there's light, there's darkness on the other side, unknown to our eye. My trust in Winrona is unshaken. Were you aware it was her who cast the spell on the veil, who darkened the skies and has allowed our kind to survive?
Of that I was not aware, but...
She's going to nod and say, she remains one of our only allies in this world.
He's just, he'll relent.
And
Practice is going to actually say, not your only ally. Umiya stands with you as well.
well, I mean, and she's going to go to respond for a second, inhale, and say, well, I am thankful for the water goddess's mercy. It is, at this point, but a farce to the Veil. I allow worship of her inside of the country. But where is she as her fiery kin rage through the desert?
What's that last part again, Brandon?
Where is she as her fiery kin rage through the desert? Because you're right. Umiya's followers wish no harm to the Darkened Veil. But the religion Umiya's a part of, the Four Ascended, so Yessa's followers are trying to burn the veil to the ground.
Practice really doesn't know what to say at that point. He's never really been challenged like that, faith-wise. And Practice says, I can't tell you what a god decides, but as an unrepentant, if you do need help, just let us know.
She's going to nod. Do you guys want to pick up here next session? I was planning on ending a little bit early tonight, but if we could end right now, that would really help me out.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
That's cool.
And we'll pick up here next session. I was planning on introducing her, then going here, but we got it a little bit early, so let's me do experience real quick for you guys. I'm going to give you guys just major experience for I needed to roll that lady something. Cool. And I'll make a note of myself for that. The lady is going to be able to craft that torch into an item that should be at least somewhat usable for you guys. So hopefully you will get that back before you leave the university. That said, I'm going to give you guys major experience for discovering more information about the Earthfires, of just like, oh, okay, well, you know, everybody's not worried about them stealing the Earthfires because the Earthfires don't do anything anymore. And it's just like, oh, well, in this form, they do stuff again. This just got really, 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 really bad. Because that's kind of like been everybody's like peace of mind of like, as you guys have been telling them, like, hey, things are bad. They're like, they're stealing dirt. Nobody cares about it. So I'll give you guys major experience for that. I will also give you major experience for contacting the Empress, because she wants to kill Olivia. And giving her a chance to make more allies to rally to the cause of killing Olivia is great. Which you guys don't know who Olivia is in this group, but your goals align. And was there anything else major that happened tonight?
I actually made it to the session.
I will give you guys. I will give Wesley inspiration for coming. No, the inspiration's actually for good role play and contributing tonight.
I want to be here, but I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. In total, 3,000 experience for tonight. That's 2 ticks of major experience. Oh, wait, I never shared this to you. It gave me the thing to share, but it never popped up. Sorry about that.
I mean, I have 10 gold, so...
Yeah.
I can afford a stick of gum.
Your next session is going to be on the 30th of this month. Does that jive with you guys? And I will be in contact with the rest of the party about if they can make it.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay. I've got to head out, but I will be reachable through Discord if you guys want to talk about the session. Thank you for showing up tonight, and I'm sorry to dip out early.